What is up, y'all? Back again with another ranking video, and this time we're going to be ranking movies, and not just movies. We're going to be ranking movies where cars are the main premise or focus within the movie, either with the main action scenes, street racing, or the main plot points. We're going to be ranking those movies, and these are all the movies that I have watched. These are the movies that are from the late 90s to present day. Of course, there's a whole bunch of car movies from before that time. So if you want a part two, let me know. I'll watch those movies and I'll actually do the ranking. Couple caveats. These are just my personal opinions, and we're going to be ranking them on based on how good the movie is to me, and two, the cultural significance that these movies brought to the car culture. So the movie might be great, but if it's not really centered around cars, I might put it a little bit low just because we're doing a car movie ranking tier list and not just a movie ranking tier list. All right, so we're gonna go through each of the rankings, starting off with Rotten Movie D tier. This is a movie that I wish I never watched. It just sucks. And FYI, I'm not going to take the Rotten Tomato scores or rankings into account. I just like the title Rotten Movie. C tier, not a good movie. It's a movie that at the time I thought it was okay, but watching back now, it's a terrible movie. I probably wouldn't watch it again, or maybe once every decade or something. B tier, it's a decent movie, has good plot points, action's okay. Again, it's probably a movie I would watch maybe once every 2 to 3 years. A tier, great movie. It's a movie with amazing plot points, good action scenes, good acting. I'm not a movie connoisseur. If I really like it, I'm gonna put it in great movie. S tier, absolute car cinema. This is a movie that's not only great, but also it made a cultural and significant impact to the car culture. A lot of car enthusiasts love to watch this movie and bring this up. So any movies that ticks all my boxes for that belongs in S tier. All right, starting off with number one, probably the best car franchise in movie history, The Fast and the Furious. Again, I'm not sure why they need to make 11 movies. They should have stopped at 5 or at least 7. But, I guess Universal and Vin Diesel need that paycheck. This is the franchise that basically brought car tuning culture to the mainstream media, especially with the first few Fast and Furious movies. And we're going to start off with number one, The Fast and the Furious. If you don't know the plot point by now, just in one sentence, it's basically an undercover Los Angeles cop trying to stop a ring of high-speed truck hijackings, but he actually befriends one of the main hijackers and they bond together through racing and cars and all that. It is definitely your early 2000s type of movies with a little bit of cheesy dialogue. They try to make it very car-centric, which I appreciate, but some of the language they be using to explain some of these cars is definitely weird. The cars do look good. It was definitely your early 2000s time period correct styling of cars. So just because of the cultural significance, and I actually like the movie a lot, I'm gonna put it in absolute cinema just because of the impact it made to the car culture as a whole. Number two, Too Fast, Too Furious. Personally, my favorite Fast and Furious movie, just because, might be a little biased, this was my first Fast and Furious movie I watched in theaters. It was a good movie. This actually had a lot of car scenes just watching back, probably the most car scenes, because it had the iconic race in the beginning of the movie with the skyline, that's 2000, the Supra, Brian just jumping over the bridge. I also had that car scene where they're just racing on the highway. There was another race scene, a tag team race with the Eclipse and the Evo racing like the two muscle cars, the Camaro and the Challenger. And of course the end car scene with the big car scramble scene. Like that was a pretty cool scene to watch. There was a lot of car scenes in that movie. Plot points, probably one of the weaker movies, plus Vince Diesel wasn't in it. But to be honest, I really liked this movie. There was a lot of car scenes, and of course it introduced the famous Skyline GTR, the S2000, of course the Evo and Eclipse. I'm just gonna put it in absolute cinema. I'm gonna be a little bit generous with this one. Number three, Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. This is where none of the main characters actually have a major appearance. Like Paul Walker's out, so he was replaced with another Paul Walker looking person, but he was actually in high school, but he looked like he was 30. But he moves to Japan and learns how to drift. It was actually a great movie for car enthusiasts. Like this is probably the movie where a lot of people rank this as their number one just because of all the cool scenes, the iconic race in the beginning, the iconic Tokyo Drift song. The plot, not the strongest for car people. I mean, this is probably their number one. I really like this movie, to be honest. It's my number two behind Too Fast, Too Furious, and that's just my own bias. I'm gonna be generous with this one as well. I'm gonna put this in absolute cinema just because of the impact it made to the car community, drifting culture, and it was actually a pretty cool movie. And they put a Nissan RB20 engine into a Mustang, so I'm gonna give it some extra points from that. All right, next in the ranking is Fast and Furious. This is the fourth Fast and Furious. This is basically the reboot of the franchise. This is where Vin Diesel and Paul Walker came back and reunited. It wasn't your street racing type of movie anymore. There was only one street race, the ending scene where they're trying to, race in the cave and stuff like that. Not really racing, but there was an car action sequence in the cave. To be honest, I'm doing a Fast and Furious franchise rewatch. Number 4 is sometimes the ones that I would skip. So I'm just gonna put it in its eye. Next one is Fast 5. This is where Fast and Furious decided to become big blockbuster. This is where they had the big heist at the end with the bank vault. To be honest, it was a good movie. Feel good story at the end where everyone got that money. They did that creative scene at the end. I'm not gonna try to spoil it for you. Is it an absolute cinema in terms of cultural impact to the car community? No, just because there's only one race and 4 police cars racing. I'm gonna put it in a great car movie just because the bank sequence at the end was cool. It was a good plot, good story, good action, but it wasn't really a movie that screamed absolute cinema to me and really didn't make an impact to the car culture. So I'm gonna put it there. Next movie is Fast Furious 6. Again, the crew got back together. There were a whole bunch of stunts, especially the tank scene towards the end. That was pretty cool. However, this is where things start to get a little bit out of this world. Dom launching from one side of the bridge to the other. Physics in Fast and Furious started to become a little wonky. Again, if I'm doing a Fast and Furious franchise rewatch, sometimes Fast and Furious 6 might be on the chopping list for me. I'm gonna put this in its eye. Next one, Furious 7. This is the one where it was a send-off to Paul Walker because, RIP Paul Walker. It was actually a pretty decent movie. There was cool action sequences like with a car jumping through 3 stories of a random tall building in Dubai. There's some cool action sequences, some cool cameos. I mean, overall, a good action blockbuster. Not really a good car movie. I don't think there was even a race in this movie. The scene at the end definitely pulled on some heartstrings for the car enthusiasts, for Paul Walker fans. I'm gonna put it in great car movie. Overall, there was some good action sequences, some good fighting sequences. Next one is The Fate of the Furious. Again, continuation of the big spectacle, big CGI, big blockbuster type of movie. Plot was crazy. The cars aspect is pretty much non-existent. Cars are in the movie, but it's not the main feature. Again, if I'm trying to do a quick rewatch of the series, Fate of the Furious might be on a chopping block for me. I'm just gonna put it in, its eye. Next movie is Fast and Furious 9 or F9. So this is where we got some flashbacks into Dom's past. This is where we got some introduction new characters like John Cena's character, which is Vin Diesel's brother, that never got mentioned in the first 8 films, but finally got mentioned now. And of course, this is the movie with the infamous space scene. So cars aren't really the main focus of this movie. Some of the dialogue, not really good. It's kind of emotionless. I saw this in theaters and we laughed at some of the scenes, man. I really didn't like this movie. I really like John Cena. I'm a big WWE fan. This is where the movie just lost its Fast and Furious roots. So I'm gonna put this in not a good movie. Next one is Fast X. This is where we got Jason Momoa being the main villain. This is where my favorite car, the Hellcat, actually got a nice starring role in at least first half of the film. Some good action sequences. Thought it was gonna end right there. When we watched it in theaters, there was that cliffhanger and then Fast 11 is gonna come out. The action sequences of this movie were pretty good. We expected this by now. It's gonna be a high budget blockbuster CGI filled type of movie. I think it was better than Fast 9. I'm just gonna put it its eye. Next movie on the list is Gran Turismo. It's a pretty new movie. It came out in 2023 and it followed a true story. Probably one of the greatest car racing franchises ever, Gran Turismo. I love that game. Basically, the plot was there's this kid from Great Britain. He played the GT Academy courses, got some great lap times, and he actually got invited to the real GT Academy, was able to drive real race cars, and became a professional driver. There was some drama in the movie. Again, it was a cool video game slash car movie. I saw it in theaters. It was pretty good. I don't think it's absolute cinema. Really didn't do anything for the car culture, just because the car culture in the 2020s is a whole separate thing of its own, away from movies. I'm just gonna put it in. I'm putting it in. It's a great car movie. I enjoyed watching it. I like to watch it over again. Next movie on the list is Ford versus Ferrari. This came out, I believe, pre-COVID 2019. And basically the plot is that Ford, they wanted to build a revolutionary race car and put it in Le Mans, which is a 24-hour race. And Ferrari was the true champion, true king of the Le Mans because they kept winning every single year. Finally, in 1966, this is where Ford made the GT40 and actually defeated Ferrari in the 24-hour Le Mans, and Ford actually first, second, and third place, which was pretty crazy. So this movie focused on the real life figures of Carroll Shelby, which people in the car would love, Carroll Shelby and Ken Miles, who were basically both the creators of the GT40. And the GT40 is a crazy expensive car nowadays, and a car that's pretty much replicated a lot. So in terms of ranking this movie, it was a movie with great car action. The plot was good, good acting, put in absolute cinema. All right, so next car movie is Herbie's Fully Loaded. So this was a reboot of the original Herbie's movie back in the 80s, I believe, and it's basically a VW bug that comes to life. And there was this aspiring racer who was played by Lindsay Lohan from back in the day, who discovered his car. It was all beat up from Destruction Derby, but she restored it and actually won a bunch of races with it. It's a feel-good kids type of Disney Channel movie. It was a good movie to watch as a kid. Very cartoonish, not really centered around car culture. I'm gonna put it in, it's alright. It's a cool movie to watch every now and then, especially if you got kids. Next movie is Super Fast. It is a parody of the Fast and the Furious. I thought it came out in early 2000s, but came out in 2015. It's a pretty funny movie to watch, and the hero car is a Scion TC, which is hilarious. There's some pretty cool cars in the movie, like the Datsun 270. There's a looking supercar. I'm not sure if it's even in production that made a cameo in the movie. Of course, they try to parody every single character. Very cringe. Would I watch it again? Probably not. Terrible movie, to be honest. Got a couple of laughs in there. I'm just gonna put it in not a good movie. Next movie is Red Line. It's a bunch of illegal street racing with supercars just trying to make money. That's about it. No plot at all. If you put a whole bunch of supercars in the movie, it doesn't really make it a good racing movie or a movie in general. Kind of a cheesy movie. It's cool for car enthusiasts to watch, but probably not, just because it's just supercars. There's no tuner cars. There's nothing really cool to watch. Supercars aren't really the only cars you think about, right? I'm gonna put it in rotten movie just because I really didn't have a good time. It's probably gonna be the only movie in there. Next movie is Baby Driver. This was a pretty cool heist type of movie. I'm not sure why the movie poster has a picture of a Challenger. I got the picture off of Wikipedia. The main hero car was a red WRX, which a pretty cool hero car. Had a good plot, good action scenes, good racing. And a lot of people really liked it outside of car world. I would say it really didn't make an impact to the car culture like that. So I'm gonna put it in great car movie. I would love to watch this over and over again. Next movie is Transformers. This is the 2007 reboot. And the plot in short was basically, we're starting at the beginning, right? This is where the Decepticons reached Earth and they're trying to just beat them. And this is where we actually got the introduction, at least in this new reboot, we got the introduction of Bumblebee, which started out as a Camaro from the 70s, and now it's the new Camaro for the time. It's a new Camaro SS. I believe this is probably an advertisement for Chevy just to advertise their new Camaro, which actually worked. Everyone wanted a Camaro. Everyone wanted the Bumblebee. Cool movie, great action scenes, great CGI. The acting was meh, both of Megan Fox, and everyone raved about Megan Fox. If you know, you know. For the CGI back then, it was pretty good. Of course, Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, iconic characters. I really didn't watch any Transformer movies after this. I'm gonna put it in its eye. Next movie on the list is Need for Speed. This is the 2014 movie released for Need for Speed, and basically Jesse Pinkman, Aaron Paul, actually framed or convicted of a crime that he didn't commit, so he's trying to exact revenge. This was a car movie that actually had great car sequences, great high-speed car chases with actually realistic stunts that didn't defy the laws of physics, no cars going into space. It actually had exotic cars, you know, your Bugatti, Koenigseggs, you had your high-performance cars, you know, your GT500s, Charger RTs, Camaros. I really liked this movie. I enjoyed it. Tried to reboot a car-centric movie that's not just big action sequences. Did I think it's absolute cinema? To be honest, I would love to watch this over and over again, especially with my car friends, and I think it did a lot for the car culture. It tried to, but I really didn't too much for the car culture. I'm gonna put it in great car movie just because I love watching this movie, but I don't think it's absolute cinema. Next car movie that I watched was Death Race, released back in 2008. Main premise is basically a dystopian future where these prisoners are just forced to race into these deadly car races, and these cars are Frankensteined up just to kill each other. This was an over-the-top, very action-packed type of movie. Definitely very violent, very gory for sure. Definitely chaos-filled. I would say it's not a great car movie. I would say it's an alright movie. It's, very action-packed type of movie. So I'm just gonna put it in it's alright. Next one, Gone in 60 Seconds. This was released in 2000. It was a reboot, the 1974 version of Gone in 60 Seconds, where the main premise was there's a guy trying to jack 50 cars all in one night. This a star-studded cast. Cage, Angelina Jolie, and you got the famous Eleanor GT500 Shelby in the movie, and he's trying to jack pretty expensive and exotic cars. The plot is decent. Again, it's your average early 2000s type of action flick. I would watch it again. Your Hollywood blockbuster type of movie. I'm just gonna put it in it's I, maybe B plus. It's I up towards the beginning of the list. Next movie is Cars 1, first animation movie that I have on this list. And the main premise is Lightning McQueen. He's a hotshot racer trying to win the Piston Cup, but actually got stranded in Radiator Springs. And there's a character development, and at the end of the day, he won the big Piston Cup. So I'm sorry if I ruined it for you, but y'all definitely should have watched it by now. But a heartwarming car story for kids. It had that iconic scene. If you know, you know. And this movie, overall, pretty cool movie. Everyone is cars. I'm still questioning how it would translate in the real world if everyone was cars. But, it makes sense. It was a great movie. Introduced Lightning McQueen, of course, Mater. It had Sally, which the Porsche 911. It was a great car movie. As kids, making car enthusiasts, I would say definitely did a great job. Even as adults, we love watching cars, and this movie is memed a lot. So I'm gonna put it in absolute cinema for sure. All right, second movie, Cars 2. So McQueen and Mater, they do some international espionage. This is based on sequels, take it to a whole nother level in terms of action, straying away from the main plot. Cars 2 really didn't have too much racing. It have some cool introductions of cool new characters like Finn McMissile, which was basically based off of the Aston Martin. Holly Schiffwell, another high-tech spy type of car. Again, is more of a spy plot rather than a car movie. So I'm gonna put it in It's I. Definitely not my favorite Cars movie in the franchise, so I'm gonna put it in It's I. All right, so last but not least is Cars 3. So basically, Lightning McQueen is now back into racing. No more spy, espionage type stuff, but now he's racing against a whole new generation of cars. Doesn't feel like he's up to snuff. And of course, with a little bit of training, and you already know the story, your typical underdog type of formula. But we got cool introductions to characters like Jackson Storm, Cruz Ramirez. I loved watching this movie. Do I think it made a cultural impact with cars in general and the car culture? Not really, but it's a great car movie that I like to watch. So I'm gonna put it in great car movie. All right, y'all, so let me know what y'all think about this ranking, where you guys would rank things differently. Again, this is my opinion. I'm not a film connoisseur, but I'm ranking based on two criteria points. One is if the movie was good to me and the impact it made on the car community, car culture. Like some of the movies that I ranked at Absolute Cinema, if it's just strictly based on plot points, movies, they wouldn't be ranked anywhere near that, right? Again, this is strictly my opinion, but let me know where you guys would rank some of these movies. I would love to hear you guys' opinions. Stay tuned for another ranking video. Signing out.